everybody. Hi and welcome. I thought I pop on a live stream because I've been working a lot in the last 2 weeks and didn't have really time for a live stream or wasn't in the mindset for a live stream. So I thought let's pop on. Let's quickly chat. As you see by the title, this is I'm going to talk a bit about my new capstone project that I created, and also a bit about other ideas that I have, how to move on. First, let me say hello. Hi Millard. Hi, I hope everything is good. Hello Amir. Hi, welcome to the stream. I hope YouTube is also working. If you're on YouTube, send me a comment on YouTube that YouTube works, because I don't have it open. Say a quick hello world from YouTube. That would be really nice to see. Hello Lucian. Yes, all right. Hi Rizwan. Hello. Yeah, it's been a while. I forgot to bring something to drink. It's been a while since I went on here. I hope everybody is good. I hope you all had a great few weeks. I was working a lot on my new capstone project. All right. Hey YouTube. All right. Hi. Hello Cedric. Akash. Hey. Thank you so much for the updates on the platform. You're welcome. I'm working all the time on new courses, on new content. So yeah, that's my main thing. That's what I do basically all the time. These live streams, I should do them more, but very often I'm not in the mood of actually doing a live stream. When I'm coding all day, and then also sometimes I feel like I have nothing to actually talk about. Yeah, then come these times where I actually have some. Now I have some. My head is a bit more free because I basically done the last capstone project. That's done. That's all released and everything. And now I'm already thinking about the next few things. So maybe it's the same thing for you. That you have, like, you're in this. It's never done. The end is the start of something new. Yeah. Welcome. I put up a quick few links. This is the site, learndataengineering.com, if you're interested in data engineering. And I put in this marker here. Ask your questions in the comments. Whenever you feel like you have a question, you find something that you want to ask about around data engineering, around data in general, post it in the chat. I'm going to look at it. I have it here on my second monitor. Basically on my third monitor, I have that here, and I'm going to check it, and I'm going to answer your questions throughout this. So don't hesitate, or don't wait for me to actually let I make a pause. Just drop in your questions. So what this is all about, I thought I'm putting this out there. I added new capstone project, and I was working on this for the last 3-4 weeks, and I think that now it's the time to actually show it. I sent an email yesterday as well. If you're on the email list, I sent that. But generally, let me show you what I have been working on and what I have been deploying. Basically, what I have been working on is this. I've been working on a new capstone project, and the goal of this capstone project was actually to work with a few tools that I already had in the academy and that are very, very popular, and that you really can use. So my idea was to create a document streaming capstone project where we have some JSON documents basically as an input, and then we streamed them through, and we created an API with fast API, and we you can't see my mouse cursor, just a second. I think now it's here. Okay. With Fast API, I also created, we are using Kafka and Apache Spark and MongoDB and Streamlit and, to actually create a pipeline and to stream data through this. I added this to the side, so if you're going to my academy, you go to learndataengineering.com and you scroll a bit down. Here's the academy. The coaching is my other thing that I do. Learn about the academy, and in this you get to this page where I have the other 2 capstone projects for AWS and for Azure, and this is the new one for document streaming. And you can actually click here and then view more details of the whole thing, what it's all about. And I thought let's chat quickly through this. Let's chat a bit about the whole project, how I set this up, and what the goal is of this. So yeah, everybody, let me know, like, what do you think are one of these tools here? What are the important ones for you? Have you already some experience with some of them? What do you think about these tools? I know like a lot of people like Spark. I did a poll this week or yesterday about like which one are the most interesting ones. People were talking, like I think Spark was the one that was most interesting. Like what's your thing? What are you interested in the most? What do you like the most? What have you some experience with? Post it in the chat. Let me know. Like I can also answer some questions around that. Again, post the questions in the chat. And yeah, I created this whole thing. Basically, I wanted to use these tools, and I also want to make this so that it's not only works on your local machine. I also want it to be able to work on a cloud platform and so on. So I used for most of the tools I use Docker or I deployed them as a Docker container, right? To make this more practical, that you can actually deploy this on the cloud, and that you not only have it on your local machine. So let's go here a few questions. Artificial intelligence. What's the question, Ashik? A project with Spark is really interesting, like working with Spark SQL. Yeah, Spark SQL is actually an awesome tool to transform the data with, because it's like nowadays it's so easy to actually create data frames from your data and then use Spark SQL to access the data, to transform the data in data frames. It's really nice. If you're working with something like a Jupyter notebook, you can even visualize this very easily and make it a bit more easier to develop. When I started, there were only RDDs, and you had to. It was rather complex with RDDs to work with. So it's very nice to actually work with Spark SQL. Amir says Spark is my favorite here. We're already getting into Milad, Apache Kafka, Amit, Spark. Yeah, Spark is a tool that a lot of people use. I'm questioning sometimes what people use this for. Is this overkill for most people? Do they really need Spark? Because Spark requires some, let's say, some resources to actually run a cluster, to actually run all this. Like, is this the right thing? For stream processing, I really like it. It has a lot of sources. It has a lot of sinks. If you're already running a cluster like on, how's it called? Databricks, then might make sense to go with Spark. People are also asking, like, what's a good alternative for Spark? That's something I'm struggling with. Some people call it, say, Flink is a good example. I always thought that Flink is a bit like a niche thing, so not 100% sure. maybe you have some insight into this. Amir or Amit, let me know where you use Spark. Are you using this just for learning? Are you using this in your daily work? Have you seen some alternatives towards that? That would be interesting to actually know. Yeah. So back to the project, back to what I was working on. Basically, I want to show you a quick I want to show you quickly. No, that's the wrong thing. What I've been working on in the Capstone project. Here's already an answer from Amir. I use Spark mainly in my online course. Offered it during the course. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid that people use Spark more or learn Spark because it's popular. People like it. It's a good name, but very often companies maybe don't really use it, because if you're on something like AWS, where you can work with Lambda functions and so on, why would you actually maybe use that? So it's always a bit, yeah. But nevertheless, it's a really cool tool, and that's why I added it to the Capstone project, because it's really cool. So what did I actually work with here? So I started, what I'm doing is, my idea for this Capstone project was actually to look into Kaggle data. I use Kaggle data very often for my projects. I use it for the coaching. Kaggle has very nice data sets where you can actually build some projects with. People very often ask me, like, what data should I use? How should I get to a project? Start with the data. And then, there's a lot of tractors out there. I hope it's not too noisy for you. I have my window open. So, I'm using data from Kaggle. This is a data set that I used for this Capstone project. A very simple one where I basically have invoice numbers. And for these invoice numbers, I have stock codes, where basically a stock code is an item. And these items, and these items have some quantity and invoice date, or like, just a second. These guys are annoying. So, basically every row is a stock item, or a stock code is an item on a invoice. And this I'm basically taking, I have this as a CSV file from my Kaggle dataset. And this I'm taking, I've written a transformer that basically takes the CSV file that is the base and writes this as a JSON file, where every line in the JSON file is a separate JSON. And these JSONs then we use and actually send through. And the idea is, on the other side, we create a front end, where in this front end we have like a very simple 2 input fields: input field for customer, input field for invoice. And we then basically, when we add stuff to the customer, this creates the customer invoice table. The customer invoice table has all the invoices for the customer that the customer created with invoice details, like the invoice number and the time when the invoice was created. Then once you have the invoice number, you can, or if you just have an invoice number, you can add the invoice number here, and you can actually then just go in and create this invoice table. And this invoice table then has all the items that are on the invoice. And that's basically the idea. On the left side, we have some data from Kaggle, where every row is an invoice item. And on the right side, we then have a user interface where we can actually query the data. And for this, I was thinking of like, okay, I'm creating an API for this. I'm creating a Kafka stream, a Spark notebook, with Jupyter, where we actually stream the data through and transform it and then send it into MongoDB to like as documents, and these documents we query then with Streamlit. So that's the whole idea that I had in this. I think it's a really it's a really nice end-to-end pipeline. It uses streaming. For testing, I used Postman, so actually to test the API. And then the idea is basically the JSONs in this file, we're taking out a view, we write an input client, and this input client sends data to the API, and then it goes through into MongoDB. And on the other side is our app, where we actually then visualize the whole thing, right? So it's fairly simple, but it's a real world thing where you might see this in the real world where you work with Kafka and Spark and with the document store, because document stores are very popular right now, and these are getting more and more popular. So I thought, let's add MongoDB to it, yeah, and that's what I was working on. I also added here in this, here it is. The good thing is this Capstone project is roughly 2 hours 45 minutes of videos, but this Capstone project, by the way, if you want to look at this board, I have a link here. You can click this link, view as interactive Capstone project board. So you can look at this board. You can look for your own. Just go to my website and click on it. Then you can get to this board. Where was I here in this? So basically how I built this is we have the Capstone project, but I also have a few courses that you could say as are fundamentals for these courses. I have a API course, I have a Kafka fundamentals course, Spark fundamentals, MongoDB fundamentals course, and these people can do, and I recommend doing these before actually going into the Capstone project. And then that's a thing that that's the whole Capstone project. Yeah. What do you guys think? Is this interesting? Should I have done something differently? Like should I added some other tools here? Kafka, Spark, MongoDB, Streamlit, something like this is in a Dockerized environment. These 4 here. What would you have? What would you have liked to have seen here as well? Would be interesting. I'm waiting for your questions. Let's just wait for your questions. Hi, Mohammad. Why Mongo, not Cassandra or Hbase? So I chose MongoDB because I wanted to work with a document store, right? Hbase is a key value store, and Cassandra is a white column store. So these are not really the same than MongoDB. And with MongoDB and how you work with documents and so on, it's very nice how you actually query the data and how you can put the data into it. So that's why I actually went for MongoDB, because I was looking for a document store. As again, Cassandra and Hbase are not document stores. Hbase is also like as a key value store. It's a bit annoying to set up. Like I would have need to set up a Hadoop cluster for this or something. So that's why I went with MongoDB, as well as yes, my documents or my data is in JSON format, so it's a very, very good tool to actually use for this. Another question here from Braulio. Hi Braulio, welcome. Airflow maybe. Yes and no. The question is with Airflow is always like where would we use this here? Let's look at this data set. Or like let's look at already in the next project. Like where would we use Airflow? What are you doing with Airflow? So with Airflow, Airflow is for orchestration or for scheduling of jobs, right? So are we doing some scheduling here? No, because we are streaming data through this. So the API writes into Kafka, produces data. Spark is the consumer for the Kafka topic. So this doesn't need scheduling. This automatically takes the data out of Kafka and processes it, and then automatically sends it in MongoDB. So there's not really a need here for Airflow. We could have scheduled this input client here with Airflow, that we say every minute you start this input client and take a few rows. But I think it's not the right choice for Airflow here. It doesn't really make sense to use Airflow in this. I don't know. You have some more ideas, like Airflow. Where could we use this here in this? We could add another pipeline to this. That would be something like a batch pipeline that takes data from MongoDB, processes it, and then writes it back or something. But otherwise, in this Airflow wouldn't really make sense. Hey Akram. Yeah. So much about this. Let me know your questions around this Capstone project. I think it's a nice. Of course, I created it, so I think it's a nice project. So yeah, something. Have you worked with Streamlit before? A lot of people or a lot of data scientists use Streamlit to very easily create some UIs to like visualize the data and so on, or explore data. So this is something really nice that I would recommend you actually start looking for. It's actually very simple to create a Streamlit app. Yeah. Can this be made in any platform like GCP, AWS, and Azure? Raphael, very good question. Yes. The idea with this is, and that was why I used Docker. I Dockerized here the API. This is a Docker container. Kafka is in a Docker container. Spark is a Docker container, and MongoDB as well. Streamlit, I didn't put in a Docker container. I wanted, after the course, that the students actually create a image for this. So this right now runs on the local machine, on their local computer, but it would also be possible to deploy this as a container if you write the images to a registry. So you could actually start up all these services here, how they are, start them up in GCP or in, what did you say? GCP, AWS, Azure, okay, on all three. Like everywhere where you can run Docker containers or create Docker containers where you can pull images, you could start up this pipeline. If you put Streamlit as well in the container, you could start the whole thing up and then have your client somewhere and write into it and then feed through it. Of course, this is just a learning project. The configurations of Kafka, Spark, Mongo, and the API, like the API is missing the security part. I didn't create tokens and so on for this. And also these are not clusters. These are just single machines. But for a learner, you could deploy this in on a cloud platform. I actually, in my outlook of the project, I actually had this as one of my like tips or outlook topics that you could work on. Bring this from instead of hosting these containers or spinning up these images here, spinning them up as containers on your machine, on your local computer, spin these up on the cloud. Well, that's something that you could do very easily. Yeah. In the course, I also have a compose file to make it easy to spin everything up. So yeah, very nice question, Rafa. Yeah, and I think generally everything Dockerized is determined or yeah, screams for hosting it somewhere in the cloud and not just on your local machine. Yeah, some more questions. And then otherwise I'm going to move on to a few project ideas that I have that I could do next. Some more questions. So until you ask some questions or more questions, I'm going to give you a few seconds more time. I want to show you something that one of my colleagues here hosted. Avery just started his Break into Data Science course at Data Career Jumpstart. He launched yesterday. Go to datacareerjumpstart.com, Data Career Jumpstart, or put this into Google. And he's working on data analysis, on machine learning here. And has a few like modules, how to get into data science, how to start as a data scientist. I think it's really cool. I want to just give him a shout out because I think this was most likely a very, very big job to actually create all this. So I find it really cool that he's going out, come out with it. Yeah, check it out. I have an affiliate code, but I don't really know. I don't know which one it is. So just do me a favor. Get in touch with Avery. You can even chat with him here. Let's see if I don't want to put in my email address here. We could even let's just try chatting with Avery here. Andreas, Avery, hello hello at learndataengineering.com. Message. Hi Avery. Can I make this bigger for you guys to see? Hi Avery. Nice course. Just want to say hi from my live stream. Andreas. Oh, let's add. Hope you had a great launch. Okay. I thought we can actually send here. Chat with him. But I guess for him it's still morning, so he might be asleep. But he was like, I was talking with him and he said it's really cool, the chat feature. So did it send? Okay. So yeah. Let's look into this. Is there a way that we can test this pipeline? What are the tools we can use for testing, Musa? Great idea. So testing is always testing is always the thing that how do you test a pipeline like this, a multi-stage pipeline? There are like a few things you can do is you test each individual piece on its own, right? You test your API that you've created, you write tests for this so you know that it works. Then you could test the API with Postman, that's sending in with a test system, and look on the other side, is the data coming in? Same for the client. Same for like Spark or something, right? You would test your individual pieces. Same for the Streamlit app. And then you would say, okay, now I have all of them individually tested. And then you would go in and start sending in data and comparing, or basically you would then look, is my data that is coming in, do I see this in MongoDB? Has it the right format? Is everything working? Do I get some errors in between? So you would manually then most likely look into this. You could also say, okay, you're importing here into MongoDB straight from the file, straight from this JSON file, import them, and then do a comparison between these two, between your pipeline and the data you manually inserted or you bulk inserted. And this way you can test this stuff. Testing these bigger pipelines is always a bit hard to actually do. It's a bit more complicated than just writing a single unit test. Yeah. So again, what you would do is most likely you would go in, you would unit test, you would test each individual part, you would test the input client, the transformations here in front, this transformer, the input client, you would test your ingest API, you would test your Spark notebook and the Streamlit app, and then you would test it all together by sending in good and bad data with your test data, and then using your client, and maybe looking at the end, like what is written in the MongoDB stuff. This way you can check this. Goro is here. Hi. What's happening? No debugging today? No debugging. So why it says no debugging, I actually did a live stream, I think it was 2 weeks ago, right? Something like that. We were actually working on the development of this, and I was struggling hard with Kafka, setting up Kafka as a container and having the API actually, these two containerized and these three Spark Kafka API, the API, that these in the Dockerized environment could talk with each other. Like we were struggling on the stream for, I don't know how long it was, 1.5 hours or something, right, Goro? So it was forever. But actually this helped me, and shortly after it, I fixed it and I actually found it out what was wrong. And I was like, because I'm an amateur, because with Kafka, you actually had to configure listeners. Kafka needs a listener configuration. When you run it in Docker, it needs basically a Docker network listener, and it needs a listener towards your local machine. And that was actually the problem. So I just changed a few configuration parameters and everything worked. So yeah. If you find yourself having this problem that your hosted Kafka is a Docker container and you cannot actually communicate with it, just send me an email. Let me know on LinkedIn or something. Yeah, I can show you how I did it. I also added this to the course. Yeah, but from this, actually, Goro, from what we've been working on, I came out the new course, the new document streaming capstone project, where I basically created this end-to-end pipeline and incorporated my fundamentals courses in this. And basically, if you go to the website, you can also check out the whole, basically all the parts of this capstone project. It's a lot. Yeah, and with this, now there are a lot of courses in the academy. So with this in the academy now, I think I have 15 courses Data engineer here. No, that's not what I want to look at. For me, it goes to my course because I'm logged in here. Let's see if I can go to this site. Yes. So basically I have a AWS Capstone project, Azure Capstone project, list new document streaming, introduction to data engineering. This is, I think, a 1 hour course, fundamentals, Python introduction by Amit. From Amit, I have a data platform pipeline design, platform pipeline security, choosing data stores, schema design for these data stores. And then the fundamental courses here, API, Spark, Kafka, MongoDB. And Suyok right now is creating a Hadoop course where part 1 and 2, basically the basics, are also already online. So this thing is growing. Of course, I'm working all day on it, every day, like 6-7 days a week. So this is my main thing that I'm doing, and I really like that. Yeah. Thanks for the help, Goro. That was really awesome. Like, I don't know where I would be if you guys didn't go through with me all the way where we actually try to debug this. If you listen to this here in this video, look at an older live stream where we actually debug this. It's full of commands for Docker and like how to debug if something doesn't work. It was a fun experience. Yeah. So with this, now I'm already thinking about ahead. What could we do next, right? What would be the next courses, things that I could build that a lot of people like? Because I want to create something that people like to do and that they can use in their daily work or for getting a job. That's good to have on your resume. 2 things I have in mind is creating a course basically on with InfluxDB, something with the time series database, where we have a time series data set, and we host Influx and the Grafana dashboard as Docker containers. So you can actually send in data into Influx time series data and then visualize it with the client through Grafana. That's something I think could be really cool that we could actually do. I already started on the basics here a few weeks ago, where I thought, oh, could be interesting. Not sure. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would that be something interesting? Do you work with time series data? Would time series data and Influx be something interesting? While I go through Braulio's comment. How about an Airflow course? Yeah. I've been working on Airflow setup. It's a little complicated. Yeah, Braulio, I saw that in the Slack. I didn't answer. Yeah, I figure. I don't remember if you used the AWS hosted Airflow or if you wanted to host Airflow yourself. Don't remember. What was it? Did you host it yourself or use the AWS one? Yeah. The company doesn't have budget for it. Okay, then don't use it. Don't find a clever alternative to using it. Try something. Have to set it up on Fargate. Yeah, then set it up on Fargate. Yeah, create a container and host it as a container on Fargate, or pull one of the containers that are already there change the configuration on the, like, I guess that's where you're struggling with, and host it yourself. The AWS one is, I think it's yeah, I remember it's quite expensive if you host a few DAGs. So yeah, it's a good idea to actually host it yourself. There's no shame in hosting stuff yourself. Maybe it will increase a bit the work for you, the actual maintenance, but it should be possible. Yeah, it would make sense. Yeah, so I think that's something. Airflow. Like I would love to. I'm not sure if a fundamentals course of Airflow would be that interesting. Might most likely be more interesting to actually incorporate it in a capstone project. Maybe here in this something, right? Something with the time series data, how we write this into influx. Maybe. Let me write question mark Airflow. Yeah. So this is one idea I had. The other idea I just had this before the stream, like this morning. I was thinking of like, should I do something like with CI/CD, like integration, development, and deployment. These are interesting topics. So I could like look into something where we develop something on our machine, and then push the code to a GitHub repository, and then through a GitHub action we publish the image then to a container registry. I think that could be a cool project to actually do, where we choose a repo, maybe AWS ECR. I think this could be very interesting to actually use a private repository on AWS, or just use the public one for Docker Hub. Could also be interesting, because the Docker Hub private one is one that actually costs something, and I don't want to go with that. CI/CD would be cool. Oh, okay. I think so as well. It could be very interesting, because then people can learn actually how do you handle this? How do you, once you push your code to GitHub, create an action, and then actually then create a new image in your registry, and then later pull the image and run on something like, a client. You could do a pull. The client here could be also like Braulio said, this could be here either could be like local Docker, could be something like AWS Fargate, ECS. I'm not sure how the others for GCP and for Azure and so on are named, but like I think this could be very cool to actually do, because it would actually fit in with how are you doing this in machine learning. What would you do? You would train your model and save the model file in the repo, and then you would build a Docker image out of this with the model inside, and then you could actually host your model, for instance, as an API, and it would be a standalone API where everything is inside, just through actually CI/CD. Could be something really, really cool to actually work with, and it's a problem where a lot of people struggle with. So I'm thinking of this. I don't know if you've already, but I find most beginners struggle with exposing all these dashboards on the web using third-party authentications, OAuth. Maybe you could cover that. That's also something. Yeah, you're right. What would you do there? We do there, Goro. We create like we could create a client for this, like go through what is OAuth, how do you use it, create a client for it, or should we more do something on the development side? Like how do you create an API to actually host that uses OAuth? I think it could be both. Most likely, what would people use most likely? Because when you think about the pipelines and when you think about what data engineers do, most of the time, a lot of people most likely will just use APIs, right? So they need to be able to use OAuth, understand and write a client for that uses OAuth. So something like this, something more in terms of data integration, where you're accessing an external API and you're using OAuth for this. I'm going to write this down. Maybe that's something interesting. OAuth data integration client and hosting. I'm guessing it would have pipeline unit and integration testing. I personally haven't seen a lot out of the web on that. But that would be more, that would be all, everything regarding the client, right? This would be, so we would need to do client testing, client integration. All good ideas, all good ideas. Just need to think of like, what could we do? What could I do here? Could I combine this with the CI/CD part, right? Could also be something. Maybe this could, like the CI/CD part, and could be a part of the next CAPSTONE project, and the next CAPSTONE project could work also with like data integration. That might actually make sense. Like a data integration CAPSTONE project. That means maybe we could combine this then. That we have the time series database and visualization part as a fundamentals course, that we have the CI/CD part as a fundamentals course, and then something with OAuth, or we use OAuth then, and then combine these to a new CAPSTONE project. That might actually be interesting to go this route. Very cool idea. Very cool idea. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let me look at my things. What did I want to talk about? I did want to talk about the new course. I think I like spammed you with this. Ideas for courses, the CI/CD course, the InfluxDB course. I wanted to plug Avery's Data Career Jumpstart. Again, if you haven't seen this here, check out Avery's Data Career Jumpstart page. Is Avery now here? Start chat with Avery. Oh. Let's see if he's online. Let's see if he answers. So, yeah. Hi, Rita. Yeah, that's it. I don't have any more topics. If you feel like, if you have some more questions about around data engineering, around what I do, around my academy at Learn Data Engineering, let me know. Here in the comments, put it down below in the comments on YouTube or on LinkedIn. If you have, like, I'm open. I have a few more minutes. We could chat about something. Where you're in your career, do you have some questions regarding getting a job and so on and so on? That's something we can spend a few minutes on that. If not, we're going to go here. Did I miss another comment? Here, this I missed. Great. All right. All right. So you guys, thanks for being here. I hope you learned something. I hope you had some fun. Now I'm going to get back to working on the concepts for the new courses. And I have actually a meeting at 5 in 2 hours with someone who wanted to join the coaching, but I think it's not the right thing for this person, but I want to give some advice to him. So that's my stuff that I'm working on today, and then I'm going into the weekend and yeah, chill out a bit. All right, no questions more coming. Then let's end here. Everybody have a great few days. I have a few other ideas that I actually want to talk about. I want to do a live stream or a video about CVs. What are some tips or some problems you should like not do, or some how did I call it here? How did I call it? Let me go to my drive. I have it in my drive. I have 2 more things but I'm not going to talk about this today. I'm going to talk about this next time. So as a small outlook, next time I'm going to talk about YouTube. I'm going to talk about 5 tips applying to internships, and I'm going to talk about 5 CV mistakes you have to avoid. So that's for the next that I actually want to talk about. Yes, quick question. What is it? What's the problem? We don't have any problems, Rita. No, not a debugging stream today. I just want to talk about the new course and yeah. Yeah. What of your courses would be the best to learn about data engineering? So I don't have many courses. I just have one course. So let me show you what I mean by that. Already spilled the beans on the next video. Shit. So how this works? I have my academy, and in this academy, I'm doing the online courses, right? But I'm not doing just single online courses that you can actually buy. Everything ties together into one course, Learn Data Engineering. And basically the idea with this is the whole academy is organized into modules. I have module 1 that has the basics, where I have a course that's called, can I make this even bigger? Where I have one that's called the Ultimate Introduction to Data Engineering. Then I'm talking about some fundamentals. And these are all individual courses on the site. Python Introduction, documenting your work, platform and pipeline design fundamentals is a module here where I have design fundamentals for platform pipelines, platform pipeline security, choosing data stores. And then I have some about some fundamental tools, API, Spark, Kafka. Airflow is coming soon. I'm working on the Airflow course. I have an idea for it, but I don't mention it because it's still too early. And document store with MongoDB. And then I'm doing capstone projects, here. So this is, I have an AWS capstone project, Azure capstone project. The one that I need to update the site actually. I just released this. The influx I already have as an idea that I shown you earlier, and I sell this as a bundle, so you can buy this. This is adjusted to my local value add tax. It's basically $220 plus your local sales tax, and you can also use this buy this as 3 payments. And with this, you have access to all the courses. And all the coming courses. And to answer Jose's question here, yes, it's for 12 months. So the access is for 12 months, because I was thinking a lot, like, how do I sell this? Of course, I could do a unlimited thing for this, where you buy this once and you get the content forever. But I think when you think it from the other side, it would be really unfair for me, because I'm working constantly on adding new stuff and bring good content, and I need to invest money into this, like not just for myself. My goal is to actually have a team to work on this and get more people involved and create faster, more courses for data engineering to actually help you along your way. And for this, that new content is coming. It's only fair, I think, if I make this a limited time, 12 months, and after that you have to resubscribe if you want to stay in and have all the courses. This way it's fair for you. You always get more new content, and it's fair for me that I actually can make a living, and I can hire people, and we can make a really nice thing out of this. Follow. Okay, got it. Awesome. So I do follow you on LinkedIn for long. Love the way you organize the info. Great content. Thanks a lot. Love it. Many thanks. I'm going to subscribe to your academy soon. Thanks. Take your time. Look around the content. I have for every course. If you click here, view all the courses. Every course has its own page here in this, and you can look, for instance, in the introduction to data engineering, what am I talking about? You can look into how long are the videos for this, and I have this basically for everything. For every course that I have in the academy, I have this overview. I think all right. Avery Road. All right. Let's write. What should we write to him? All right. Have a great one. Yeah. What was I talking about? Your courses, content, something. So if you want to chat with Avery, you can chat that here. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that's it. Yeah, I was talking about that I have like this overview for all the courses, right? So I have this in the learn data, and you just need to, no, not here. You click through here, or what I also do in this, if you just click on the Academy, I created a dummy curriculum here that has all the contents for all the courses here, so you can see from all the courses, you can actually see the names of the lectures. So these are basically all the lectures that you're getting in the Academy. That's a bit, right? And there's also, this is also the part for the new Capstone project here, 4.3. I actually need to change this here as well. Yeah. As you see, I planned this to have this live by July. I'm already behind. I was already behind. So, yeah, thanks for being here again. Have a great one. It was nice chatting with you. See you next time when we were talking about the 2 videos I said, like the CV help and how to apply for internships, right? So, see you later, and bye-bye. It was a nice hour spending with you.